Hi, folks, and welcome to Winners in the Cloud, our new tech series dedicated for Windows 365 for IT pros like yourself. So please make sure to register on the Windows IT Pro YouTube channel to keep up with the latest news around the Windows in the Cloud episodes as well as the Ask Me Anything events. So I'm very excited to introduce our next guest with you. And this episode is a little bit different because it focuses around partners and partner opportunities around Windows 365. So hi, Alessandro. How are you doing?
Hey Christian, good, very good as always. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. Thanks for asking. And before we jump into some Windows 365 and partner orientated content, I remember you're based out of Germany, but you're like ready to move to Redmond, right? To move to the mothership of Microsoft. Can you tell a little bit about that, and as well about yourself and what your role is in Microsoft?
Sure, let me help you with that. So first of all, it's very correct. I'm still in Munich. I'm currently based in Germany, but I'm moving to Seattle in 7 days to be exact on the day. So my background is that I've worked for the German sub for a couple of years and took care of the go-to-market strategy for SMB customers in Germany. And now came the time to do the shift and move to the corporation, to the headquarters in Seattle, in Redmond, and take care of the go to market strategy on a global scale. So, this is why I'm very, very excited about my move coming up, and also very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to see you here and catching up here on site. And what you just shared has probably been a key element in driving the GTM strategy of Windows 365 as well, right? So can you share a little bit about that and what you did in the last like 3 to 6 months to create that work for our partners?
Absolutely. So when I took over the responsibility for having the, go-to-market strategy of Windows 365, especially in the partner channel, I realized that there are some things that were just missing still and where we had a lot of stuff to improve. For example, we didn't really have a one-stop portal where partners could access all of the material that they would need. And on top of that, we didn't even have the material that partners could actually use to sell Windows 365 and also learn about how Windows 365 can both be very, very strong and very helpful for a partner, but also obviously very, very good for a customer. So what we did is we created, a partner portal where we have all the topics together. We have customer pitch decks, we have partner pitch decks, we have a lot of email templates, to name a few things before maybe also focusing on it later. But the importance is that we now have a lot of material that enables the partner to become the professional in selling Windows 365.
Yeah, that's great, and I love like people jumping in a gap, which sort of represents what customers ask for proactively. So we have that portal, and we will show the audience what it is and how they can access it just in a bit. But can you tell a little bit like why Windows 365 is excited for customers and what kind of the opportunities are that they have right now with this new product in market?
Absolutely. So, as everyone knows, right, Windows 3, so I hope that most of the people watching this video know, is that Windows 365 is the full computer in the cloud. That means you have the full Cloud PC streaming everything down. Now, this opens up a vast opportunity for a lot of customers having different scenarios. So, for example, one scenario could be that you have people that you want to onboard, but you don't have a direct touch point. So you cannot, for example, meet them in person. You don't have the IT desk that can hand something out, maybe because of a lockdown, right? We had that in the last 2, 3 years. We've seen these situations. And with Windows 365, you as an IT pro can enable and provision a whole PC no matter what device the employee uses. So you could onboard a new employee. The employee could use a private device, and with Windows 365, you can get that set up within seconds. And the best of it is that it's absolutely secure. So depending on the rules that you put on this device, right, on Windows 365 from the cloud, the employee can really have access to only those things that he's supposed to do and not do things that could happen, like, for example, copy paste something from the cloud PC onto the private PC, share some information that they shouldn't. There's a lot of different things that can happen in our day-to-day business, and Windows 365 really ensures that everything is secure no matter what device an employee is using.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And just before we jump into some specifics, so the real opportunity is in the simplicity and security, as well as in margin. So all that work combined is that you can do things faster, more at the same time, and for good margins as well. Is that a good summary, or can you elaborate on
Yeah,
that?
I mean, there's a lot more, right? So this is maybe one scenario where Windows 365 is a good solution. There's more scenarios. For example, if you're working on something that is very, very computing intensive, so you need a lot of computing power, but your current PC just doesn't offer this, right? You can get a cloud PC, and with this, the whole computing power moves into the cloud. That means your local device can be something old, maybe not the newest, maybe, not the one to, I don't know, do some rendering for videos, some savings of music production, all of these, I would say, all of these programs that require a lot of computing power can then be moved into the cloud PC, and the cloud PC has a great opportunity to use just as much as you need. So you can easily upgrade and get the power that you want, even though your local PC might not be strong enough to do it.
Yeah, that's great. And you sort of explained it already, like you decouple Windows from the physical device and make it like agnostic and scalable from the cloud, and the device that you use is less important. And I think that's great, and is the example of where customers are today and where they want to excel to in this hybrid remote work kind of strategy moving forward. So not only with COVID as well as post COVID. So that's great, and makes me also very excited in seeing customers adopting our solution so fast, as well as partners too. So before we jump and move over to that LifePod portal, can you share some example scenarios some partners already did with Windows 365, just to give the audience something to put in perspective, what the opportunity could be and which vertical, etc.?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of great things that we see our partners doing to sell Windows 365 in a great way and also to manage it in a perfect way. So one thing that we're seeing is that there are a lot of OEMs or partners that sell devices actually sell the device together with Windows 365 because it offers exactly what you just told and what you talked about. It's a perfect solution for having, a great device and the whole PC in the cloud, enabling absolute flexibility and absolute great experience for users having this kind of solution. And obviously for partners, this is also a great way to not only, have the management of the device, but also have the management of the whole Windows, of the whole, the whole cloud PC, have the possibility to, again, also have some margins here, right? But in the end, it all comes down to the customer just being a lot happier with having the partner taking care and making the absolute environment of absolute security.
Yeah, that's great. And talking on behalf of a lot of partners that are a partner for Azure Virtual Desktop and are looking at Windows 365 right now as a way to perhaps do more deployments faster and such. What can you share for those partners to explain what the differences are and how to get started?
That's a great question. That's a question we get a lot, right? So when do we actually use Azure Virtual Desktop? When should we use Windows 365? And what is the right solution? What is it going forward? Well, there is no, black or white answer to this. It's really about, looking at what the customer needs and adapting to this. So as an example, if a customer really requires, a lot of flexibility, a lot of, ways to maybe use a cloud PC or like a virtual PC in a certain way, maybe Azure Virtual Desktop is the right way to go. But for the, I would say, experience of both the customer and the employee that actually uses Windows 365, and on top of that also the potential of easily provisioning the whole PC, then the solution is Windows 365. And what we're seeing from a lot of partners doing that sold Azure Virtual Desktop before is that they're looking into exactly what I just told you, right? So they're looking, okay, what is the customer like? What does the customer really need? And maybe Windows 365 is the right solution here. And maybe for others, Azure Virtual Desktop is the right solution still. So it's really about looking at what the customer needs.
Yeah, I always sort of compare it with like Exchange Online and Exchange on premises or a platform as a service solution versus a software as a service solution. You can connect and configure everything yourself, but some customers are just not looking for that in a digital transformation, are more looking for a simple, easy solution that is easy for to access from the end user experience side, as well as easy to manage from the IT admin side. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, let's just jump into the partner portal. I'm very curious about what you have been preparing with the team and what you shared on the internet to learn and get partners educated on Windows 365. So can you share that partner portal with us and go through the different assets that they can learn of?
Absolutely. Absolutely be happy to do that. And let me jump right into it. So this is the partner portal for Windows 365. And it can be found under the link that is aka.ms/W365 partner portal. And what you have here is really what I just talked about, a one-stop shop for everything you need to get ready to sell Windows 365. So on the top screen, it really starts with the most important news that we have, and that is that we have the Windows 365 CSB trial available right now. And if you click on the FAQ, obviously it's going to hand you to exactly the information that you need to start selling this trial to your customers. But I would say the even better part is when you scroll down. So after the introduction you see at the top, you have this little section here. And this section is really everything you need to get ready to sell Windows 365. That means it has 2 learning training videos that are, I think one is 1 hour and the other one is 1.5 hours long. And it talks all about the value of Windows 365 for customers and for partners, and the way to set up Windows 365 and manage it once you got it provisioned into your customer. So it's, again, the Sales and Technical Readiness series that we have here. It's both available on demand. So I would say that this is probably the single most important asset on this partner portal.
So I just wanted to ask one more thing about those trials. So that means that they can use a license, like 2-core, 8 gig of RAM license to just kick the tires with Windows 365 without any payment to do or whatsoever.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Thanks a lot for your question. So I didn't even specify the trial and what it looks like. So as you said, it's exactly the 2-core, 8 gigabyte version that you can get of Windows 365 and sell to a customer, and it's 1 seat per tenant who can really trial and check out how Windows 365 works. It also helps you convince the customer and showcase exactly how Windows 365 works. And then obviously this is going to help sell the whole Windows 365 solution in the future. And the specific is that it's, again, 1 tenant, 1 seat for 1 month that you can trial this kind of solution. And the way to book it via the new commerce experience is actually extremely easy. So the only thing you need to do is pick the exact right SKU, which again, 2-core, 8 gigabytes, Windows 365. You click on it, and 265 gigabytes of space. You click on it, you use exactly that license and assign it to a customer, and it's automatically going to apply the free trial for 1 month.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for that insight. I think a lot of partners will be interested in that before they fully buy into this solution. So this is a great gesture from Microsoft to kick the tires. So I'm so glad that's part of the portal. So let's continue here. You have some cool stuff here, so I'm looking forward to it.
Happy to do that. So when we thought about what the best way is to build a Windows 365 practice, we thought about maybe doing it in 4 steps. So step number 1 is to understand the opportunity, right? Which has a lot of presentations and learning, the learning above, right? And that's number 1. Number 2 is to also develop the sales and technical capabilities. So to really understand, okay, how can I do this? What is the technical side? And how does it work, right? Windows 365. The third is then obviously, how do you activate this? So how do you really sell it, and how do you build a marketing plan and use different assets that we have to reach out to your customer? And finally, last but definitely not least, is how do you continue to manage and deploy these solutions? How do you continue to monitor? And what are the ways that you can do that? So let's start with step number 1, understanding the partner opportunity. So what we have here is really, I would say, the 3 most interesting presentations which partners obviously want to know about. And that is, number 1, the partner overview presentation. So where is Windows 365 really bringing, I would say, some value on the table? And this is available in many different languages, as you see. So we have English, Portuguese, Chinese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, and Spanish. And we're also localizing a couple of the other assets, by the way, and they're going to continue to come onto the portal in the future. But the second most important, I would say, asset here is we have the FAQ. So the partner FAQ really has an answer to all of the questions that you have. It's a very long document. And the reason why this is because we really wanted to make sure that no matter what partners want to know about, we have a good answer to it. Also, there's 2 more, I would say, decks that are also very, very important. And that is, number 1, what is the difference between Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop? And more importantly, how do you pick the right solution for your customer? And I would say the last asset of this kind of group is the Windows 365 Enterprise and Business Edition comparison. So as you might know, or maybe not know, is that there are 2 kind of versions that we sell Windows 365 in. And that is the Enterprise version and the Business Edition. And the Business Edition, or the Business version, that is really suited for companies up to 300 seats. The Enterprise is for everything above. That doesn't mean that sometimes also for smaller customers, the Enterprise solution can be the right way to go. It really depends on what you want to do with it. The Business Edition, I would say, just to summarize it real quick, I mean, going into detail is obviously possible if you click on the presentation, but a quick summary is that the Business Edition is a little bit easier to provision. It's a little bit easier to get started, but the Enterprise version offers a lot more flexibility, and I would say also possibilities to manage it in the future. And this is where the different kind of customer scenarios come in play, because if you have a customer that requires a lot of management from a partner side, maybe the Enterprise Edition is the right one to go. If you want something with very simple, that's the Business Edition. So let's move to step number 2. Step number 2 is, how do you get ready to sell Windows 365? How do you learn where the value lies, and how do you also, again, know how to provision it and how to set it up from a technical side? And what we have here is, for example, the sales training that we also have at the link above that I just talked about. We have some cheat sheets where you have like a quick overview of what Windows 365 really brings to the table. We have the licensing deck where you have an overview of the different licenses, and you can go through that. And we also have the interactive demo link, which I believe that you might have already shared, Christian. And what this really is that you can click on it, you have a click-through demo where you can already experience the kind of version of Windows 365 and learn what you can do with it right from your browser. And then, of course, it's not only about sales, it's also about the technical side. So how do you configure it? How do you set up? We have the training, right? More importantly, Microsoft Mechanics videos. They're always, our partners love Mechanics videos. So this is exactly where we have a lot of value here. We have all the links together, and it shows, again, how do you set up the Cloud PC? How does it work? It shows also the admin setup, It has some management tutorials for Cloud PCs. And then there's also 2 more presentations where we look a little bit more on the advanced level of and an in-depth focus on how to set up Windows 365. It's a presentation. And then, last but absolutely not least, Christian, we have your videos. So we have the other videos talking about Windows 365. It's a link to your portal, right? Where also you're going to be able, if you click that link, you're actually at some point going to be able to see this video that you're watching right now exactly on the page.
Hey, that's awesome. And just to chime into the technical presentation there, so for the IT pros listening here, what do they see in there? Is it like deep technical, like how to deploy and everything, what you need to know to get started and kick the tires kind of information?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's only for IT pros, to be honest. It goes very in depth because it's exactly what you just said. It has a step-by-step guide to guide you through each and every step of how to provision a Cloud PC, how to find the right solution, how to do it with your tenant. But on top of that, I would also say, even if you're not the most professional and you're trying to understand and have some guide through, this is also very, very helpful because, again, it's step by step. So it really takes, the hand and guides partners through this technical setup.
Yeah, that's awesome and describes as well the easiness of our solution. With business, theoretically, like an office manager can provision a Cloud PC as well without any deep technical knowledge needed from any dependency product, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's as easy as, I would say, logging into your Windows and into your computer. It's just as easy to provision a Cloud PC. So maybe there's one more thing to mention, and that might be interesting also in this step, and that is that there's one link here where you can pretty much get the whole training material together, which is also something that a lot of partners use because they just download the whole thing, check everything out on their device, or maybe also localize it in a certain way and then also roll it out to internal staff. So once a partner has understood, the value of Windows 365 and then also has learned about, the sales and the technical readiness of Windows 365, then we have to get to step number 3. And that is, how do you now really sell it? How do you activate your sales and marketing plan? And for this, we have a lot of different assets. And as you can see, most of them are localized. And the reason for that is that obviously our customers are all around the world. So all these different customers want to maybe have different languages that they want to get their presentation shown to. So that's why we have localized all of these different assets. And what you're going to find here is, for example, the customer email templates. So the customer email templates is like a pre-template that you can pretty much send out. Just type in, your own name, type in the customer name, and it has all the value and everything that Windows 365 really, creates in value, summarized in a short email. So happy for you to use that. On top of that, we have obviously the Windows 365 customer pitch decks. And we have 2 of them. We have one for the business edition and one for the enterprise edition. And I would say they're probably 80% the same, but then obviously because of the different editions, there's some kind of differences. But again, very importantly, we have them localized in the different languages, so you can use them no matter where you are throughout the world. And then there's also a couple of other things. If we go all the way down, we see, for example, a case study that we have from the government of Nunavut. It's also a very interesting case study. It's always good to show customers some cases, some use cases where we have, sold and shown the value of Windows 365 before. And then, of course, we have some additional stuff like product brochures. We have some videos about Windows 365. We have a very short call center pitch that is like a short version of a pitch example. And we have, again, the licensing comparison, so also a customer can kind of better understand what is it that I actually need and what is the right solution for me.
Yeah, this is great, and I like it when we sort of help partners to Yeah, get them like accelerated on the onboarding process, like even like the email template example that touches like exactly on the focus areas is a great example of we helping partners to accelerate and onboard and see the benefits of Windows 365 too, and as well the inclusiveness of all those languages that have been prepared for all those different countries to just get started without any translation to do too. Is there anything else on this list that you want to highlight to the audience?
Yeah, I think there's the only one on this list that I really want to make sure that the audience sees is the customer story. I think this customer story is very powerful. So it's a customer story about Nunavut. So Nunavut is a very small town in Canada, and the situation with Nunavut is that they always have some very hard circumstances in terms of weather. So it could be that there is a snowstorm the next day. It could be that the snow is actually blocking all the streets and you can't get through yet. So in order to enable a continuous work, what they really require is that they have a lot of staff that is, I would say, flexible in terms of when they work. So sometimes they have to hire new staff very quickly, and sometimes they also have to onboard again. And this kind of flexibility really requires that you can do this no matter what circumstances you're in. So no matter if the roads are completely blocked, you really want to have different employees being onboarded from no matter where they are, and maybe if they're stuck in their own house. And on top of that, obviously, you don't just want to get them connected, but you also want to have them and everything secured, because obviously, as a part of, if you're using government data and if you're working with government data, it's really important that everything is secure. So this is just a great example of where Windows 365 can create so much value. And again, the government of Nunavut is just so happy that they're using Windows 365.
Yeah, that's awesome, and really describes as well how fast they can ramp up in different scenarios like remote working, on the top of the iceberg, like literally, right? So, Sandra, is there anything more left for the audience to know before we wrap up?
Yes, there's one more step, and that is the management and deployment. I'm just going to give a quick overview here. So you have some deployment guides. You also have some guides on or some links to different portals where you can talk to other partners and share their insights on how to also connect ISV solutions and create some for Windows 365. Maybe also how to get familiar with Azure Virtual Desktop, as there are different solutions for different customers. But this is then again the step number 4 that just has some additional content that is relevant for partners.
That's great. And with Microsoft Inspire coming up soon as well, definitely a hot topic and as well a new moment and event to reconnect with partner opportunities around Windows 365. So thanks, Alessandro. How can people stay in touch with you to learn perhaps more and follow you on social media?
Yeah, so obviously I have a LinkedIn page, so I'd be happy, if you want to reach out, you want to follow me on LinkedIn. The name is Alessandro Podda, Podda. It's probably also as you see it in the screen. So feel free to follow me. Always some updates about Windows 365 and also some other products about maybe Teams Essentials or other products that are relevant for the SMB space worldwide.
Great. And that partner portal you just mentioned, can you share that link once more for the audience?
Absolutely. So it's aka.ms/W365 partner portal.
Awesome. Thanks for again sharing that, and thanks for the great work with your team that you did to create this partner portal together for us, and as well the partners, of course. And thanks to you, to the audience, to listening in again at episode number 9 of Windows in the Cloud. So please follow us on YouTube at the Windows IT Pro channel, and we hope to see you next time at episode number 10 with a customer story. So stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching.